Melissa coming to you live. It's Wednesday around 3 p.m. I'm usually live over on my own page on Facebook, but we're switching it up this week. We're going to be live here on my YouTube channel. So welcome if you're joining me for the first time. I am a faux finish painter, brand ambassador. I paint everything and all things with Dixie Belle paint. And today just happens to be a beautiful chest. And this chest is a solid wood piece that I picked up at a local auction for very cheap because the lid was broken. So I was actually able to fix the lid really easy with just some screws and glue, and it's back on track. I'm actually going to put something up here, I think, so I can get right up to the edge. We're going to paint a meadow on this little piece today. And if you've never painted a meadow, we're not going to be afraid. Okay, we're going to show you the easy way to do that. And I'm going to do it using a bunch of brushes and my Dixie Belle paint products. So if you see something you like, you can always check the description, click the link, or you can send me a message. I'm always happy to help. All right, let's jump in. So this pine box is missing a lock piece here on the front. That's okay. I actually have, I'm probably sitting on it, I have a little brass piece I'm going to be putting over top of this. And I've cleaned the base and then painted it with just a light coat of paint. The top is vintage duck egg. The bottom is probably one of Dixie Belle's lighter colors. I have about 20 here on the floor. And we are going to be doing a meadow today. So this meadow is going to be clouds in the sky, trees, tiny house, and eventually I'm going to get over here to sheep. This will be sheep over on the bottom. All right, so what are we going to start with? Well, we need a couple different brushes. And the brush that I use for blending and making like a cloudy blend very easily for a sky is this one. This is called your Best Dang brush. This Best Dang brush is available from DixieBellePaint.com. It's a natural fiber brush with a little bit of synthetic on it. And it really pulls together, and when damp, you can actually really pull together these paint colors and create something really fun. So let's just jump in, shall we? I got a bunch of brushes on the floor. We're going to start off with a darker color. This is Stormy Seas. It's like a grayish, and I actually think I'm going to paint the lid as well. Now listen, don't be afraid of doing what I'm doing here. This is not hard, okay? This base coat is going to give me my blended start, and I like a little bit of a moody, cloudy sky, okay? So this Stormy Seas is a little bit darker. I will do it over there as well, but for now we're just going to start with that. Then I'm going to move into probably the same brush, Vintage Duck Egg. Vintage Duck Egg is a prettier, lighter blue. You can see it's the same blue as what's on here. And we're just going to mash these colors on here because once I blend them together, what's going to happen is we're going to create a sky, okay? Grab a little bit of white while I'm at it, and we're going to talk about how we do this blend. Really, really easy, okay? Are you watching? Bring you in a little closer, get you over the lip of my floor, and you can see what I'm up to. Okay, so this is the magical tool for getting an ombre blend to look like a sky. Does that look crazy? Yes. Don't be panicked. You're going to spray your brush with water, okay? This is just going to damp your brush a little bit and allow you a little bit more freedom for blending these water-based paint colors, okay? So I'm going to roll up my sleeves because this does get a little sweaty, little muscle action right here. And we're going to take this, and if you see me rubbing my brush, I just have a cloth down here on the floor. I wipe it off with a bit of water. Okay, so we're just going to do some soft blending. And this is just the start, okay? This is going to be like a hand-painted piece 100%. It's going to be full of different colors, a beautiful meadow, some cows. I can feel it start to pull a little bit. I'm going to give it a wipe. And we're going to keep going. This is how to get the best cloudy blend. You're not going to create a better scene. I literally did my entire wall last week. If you need to see it, it's here on Shorts. And we're going to make this beautiful sky. Can you see how fast that was? How fast that is? Let's see if I can move this over without driving myself. Could be dicey. We're going to turn you a little bit, and we're going to work on the same bit on this corner. So I'm going to go back in with the Stormy Seas. Again, same brush, okay? We're not going for perfection here. This is not the painting for you if you are like nervous and go real slow and gently. No, we're going to be messy. We're having fun. We're just getting this color on here, and it's a sky. No sky is the same and or perfect, okay? I might even add a little bit of this lighter blue, which is the Savannah Mist, okay? Again, wipe off my brush, and we're going to spray it. A small circular. You're going to see me hold it close to the tip as well, okay? Holding it close to the tip is what gives you control. If you find that any of these little bristles on your brush are shedding, that's okay, because when they're dry, you can just rub them and they'll fall off. So all we're doing is getting a base for my cloudy sky. And if you tell me you can't do that, I'd say that you're full of baloney. Of course you can. That was so easy. Let's even add a little bit more darkness to that corner. I do like a moody sky. I like it to look a little bit dark. Okay, so now we have this sky blend. Down here is going to be green. I think I want to bring the sky down a little bit more. I'm going to go back in here with this lighter color. And we're just going to bring it down. I can paint the bottom part of the scene up. I just want to get my skyline going. So this wood box will have this on the top. I'll do the whole top piece in this cloudy sky finish. Now let's talk about clouds a little bit. I'm going to switch up my brush so I have more of a clean white. You can use any white you want. I have a cucumber ice, which is a tad creamy, tad green. I have on the floor, this is silk paint and oyster, which is not even a true white. And somewhere in here, again, I painted my room this week, so this whole box was dragged upstairs with me, is gardenia. Okay, so gardenia is actually good for clouds. It's not too white. It's just a little bit off white. All right, now this is how we're going to work on some clouds. A couple different ways to do this. Not hard. Again, French tip, natural fiber brush. And I'm just going to come in here and we're going to start to blend in some clouds. Clouds are not perfect. You could do the entire cloud like this and there would be nothing wrong with that. You can easily take the same brush and start to brush out some of the edges. I like a little bit softer. I want there to be a lot of clouds. So I like this kind of softer blend. Can you see that? See that perfect cloud? Let's keep going with the gardenia. I'm going to come right up here. We're going to do the same thing. Rubbing it, blending it, creating clouds where there really wasn't any before. If you feel your brush start to drag, wipe it off again, spray it again. Okay? Again with the gardenia. And honestly, the more haphazard and crazy you are with these clouds, the easier they are and the better they look. If you get too technical and too worried and you start to really, oh my gosh, I have to plan them out, they have to be even. No, they don't. This is a cloud. Clouds are not even. The messier, the better. To be honest, they look even better when you start to add in some darkness. Let's find, on the floor, I have some French linen, okay? This is an old container. This is a little dicey. I wouldn't use this to paint like a piece of furniture one color, but I can grab some of this and I can put it on here as well. I'm gonna go with a smaller brush this time just so that I can get in here and start to add some gray, because not all clouds are perfectly white, right? Like we know this. They have to look a little bit moody for me to like them. I like moody. I don't like things that look too perfect. It will bother me if they're too perfect. Okay, I'm gonna go back in with my brush. Let's give it a little spray. And we're going to blend them out. If you're new watching me for the first time, say hi, drop it in the comments below. Let me know where you're watching from. If you're back, because you usually watch me over on Facebook, hey, how are you? Welcome back. We're mixing it up, being over here on YouTube today. How are you loving these clouds so far? Are you thinking that this is something that you can do? I don't want you to look at this and feel overwhelmed. I want you to look at this and think, wow, this is super cool and super easy. I could do this on anything. Let's actually bring some of that Stormy Seas, which is the darker gray tone, just up here. Let's see what happens if we add a little bit of clouds with some Stormy Seas. It's that small circular motion that really, really helps get these clouds looking authentic and real. Again, feel it start to drag, give it a bit of a spray. So now we have this field, right? I'm going to be putting a little house over here. I think I want more white. What are your thoughts? Should I add more white clouds? Drop it in the comments below. I am listening, but I'm going to do it anyways. Hello from New Jersey. How are you today? Let's add a little bit more white. You're probably colder up in New Jersey. I am located in Richmond, Virginia. It is chilly outside, dark and gross here today. Not cute. Again, spray my brush. Now, when you start to look at this, is it looking real enough for you, or are you thinking, hey, that still looks kind of fake? Let me push the camera back so that you can see the whole piece. Thinking clouds are going to come this way. There's going to be more of a hill and a house, and the cows down here. I don't like this one. Can you see how sharp that edge is? I don't want that. I think I want to put a little bit of darkness in there. I'm just going to grab one of the brushes that had some gray on there and blend it out. And like I said, the top of this piece is going to be just like this across the whole thing. Now, if you're doing a sunrise or sunset, you could obviously put that in the middle, add in your yellows, your pinks. But for me, I think that this is getting to where I want it to be. I just don't like it to look too even Steven. I like it to look a little moody, a little messy. So I'm liking the darkness on this edge coming over because the house is going to be over here. Let's start our work on the bottom, and if we feel the need, we can come back in and add some more white to the clouds, okay? So for the bottom part, I'm going to grab some greens. Again, all Dixie Belle paint products today, all water-based, super easy to use. I'll tell you what I'm using as I go along, but any blue, any green can do the trick. You're not locked into the exact colors that I'm using. So I've got French linen, I've got my collard greens. I do like this green when I do a meadow. There's so much yellow in it that I love it. It's called Holy Guacamole. This is actually really old paint can. You can see the old paint label on here. I keep some of this out here for when I just do landscapes. Okay, so down here is going to be, oh, this brush is crusty. Let me just bash it on the floor a minute. My technical term. So if I bash it on the floor, I just loosen it up a little bit. I do wash my brushes, but sometimes they get a little crusty from sitting on the floor because if I open my paint cans, I'm painting for a long period of time. So I feel like mountains here, or not mountains as much as horizon. I'm actually going to go back into my original paint color, which was the Stormy Seas. So we're going to think like horizon line. And then even more, I think. I'll put a little bit of green in there. And let's take this brush that's dry and just kind of start to soften these edges a little bit. This is going to be an abstract style of furniture, okay? This is not, you're not going to look at this and go, oh, I can exactly see every single flower petal or every single piece of the mountain or every single part of the meadow that she's painting. This is, I want you to think more abstract. It's going to look better if it's kind of soft and blurred out. So this is going to be the start of kind of like the area where the trees are going to be. Over here, we're going to start to bring in the green. So I'm going to come in with that same brush I used for the blending because it's really not that dirty. And I'm going to go with this lighter color. This one just happens to be called Olive Wood. All right. Olive Wood is what I used over here on the base. Let me just kind of plan out my horizon line. I feel like the house is going to sit here. We're just going to blend these two together. The sky. And then we're going to come this way because remember we're putting cows in here eventually. All of this will be eventually filmed and put together, but right now you guys are getting like a sneak peek. I feel like I don't give my YouTube enough love. YouTube needs some more love, which means you're going to get some more lives. So I'm just going to spray my water and kind of blur out those edges. If you wanted to, you could go back to your best dang and blur them out as well. See how nice and blurry it gets with that best dang brush? Okay, so let me just in my head think about where this house is going to sit. It's going to be about here. Okay, when I do these scenes, I kind of plan them out a little bit. The house, probably come up even higher, honestly, with a pointed roof. Then a meadow this way. Then this way is going to come some like road tracks, and this is all going to be green. So let's start to build up my background. We're going to move into the greens now. I got my holy guacamole. I've got my olive wood. I'm going to grab thicket, and I'm going to really not even change my brush out. Let's just kind of get some darker greens on here to really start to blend my base. I want even darker. So all I'm doing is kind of spacing out my green meadow, if that makes sense. It's going to come on this side as well. And then the sides of this piece will be painted in the green meadow as well. All I'm doing is just dropping paint color in, kind of planning my piece, right? Thinking about how it's going to sit. There's going to be a puppy dog coming in here in about 1 minute. I hear her little feet. And grab some of that holy guacamole and drop that in there too. All of these layers are just going to add elements to this piece. I think there's going to be bushes in here. Let's just get our basic layout, our basic line. If you're interested in other videos that I have of how to do this, I have a lot here on my YouTube page, including a series on back to basics, which is going to help you go from the beginning. Like, where do you start? What do you do? Where, what products are you painting with? It's all there on back to basics here on YouTube, okay? I'm going to go with some brown. Luna, my dog's just standing behind me, heavy panting. You sound creepy, puppy. Are you starting to see my vision? Are you starting to see the abstract coming together? Again, using some of that chocolate to really get in here and darken it up. Here's my baby. Everybody want to say hello to Luna? Luna, say hi to the crew. Tell everybody you want to be the star and be in every single video. Luna's my shop dog. Back to work. I could lock her out, but to be honest with you, she's so big that she knows how to push the door open. So if she pushes the door open, she's going to come in regardless. So I might as well just leave it open and let her do her thing. Okay, so I'm just stomping on my paint, getting the gist of where I want everything to sit. I'm going to do a tree up here. Let's talk about trees. A couple different ways you can do this, okay? Again, not hard. The best friend you can have is a brush that is nice and rough. This is just a basic chip brush. So we're going to start with this, and I have a couple different brushes on the floor, some that are a bit smaller. Let's see what happens if I take some of this darker green, which is called collard greens, and start to create some trees. I'm just going to kind of drop the paint on there and see what happens. We're just going to create a shape first of all. And again, stabbing my paint on. I'm not sitting here being super precise. I'm really not. The more precise you are, the harder you're going to find it. Be loosey-goosey. Kind of decide where you're going to get those shapes. This brush is actually pretty hard. I think I want to use this soft brush. But what I'll do is I'll just dip into half. So we're going to start to dab our trees in. Okay, so there's going to be a tree over here. I actually think I want to bring it over that way too. And then I'd like to add in a bit darker color. Do I have a black? Ooh, I've got pine cone. Pine cone is amazing. Pine cone is this really, really chocolatey brown. Works amazing for landscapes. So again, just light dip, gentle touch. Okay, this is just starting to lay out my tree pattern here. Again, if you feel like it's too much, wipe it off. Go back into your other green, your colored green. How high do I want this tree to go? Is the question. It's getting kind of brown. Let's turn my brush around so I'm back in the green. And again, this is like layer upon layer. We're not doing this right now and thinking you're done. This is just like the baby steps of figuring out all of your things. So I've got this. You can also take your brush, like a smaller little artisan brush. Okay, nothing fancy. I like the round ones more than I like the straight across ones. And you can even come in here and just start to soften some of these edges. All you need to do is spray. And you're able to really kind of manipulate this paint to be less precise, if that makes sense. If you hear some snoring, it's not me. It's totally my puppy dog. She's laying behind me with her snoring face. I can hear her. She's a heavy breather. So I'm just moving that paint around to create some texture. And then we're going to come down and create that bush. So there's the base. That's where I know I want my bush to be. Okay, I've got, or tree. I've got a little thing of water on the floor. I want to put in the house. Now, have I painted a house before? No. I painted lots of barns. So let's see what happens if I take one of these brushes and just do like a little basic roof. We're going to go like, I think we're going to go this way. We're going to go slope down. And the house isn't even going to be perfect, you guys. We're using pine cone. The roof is going to come down, kind of curl out. Maybe it'll be like one of those thatch roofs. You don't need to paint it in yet, but I mean, I can, so you get an idea of where we're going with this piece. Once you kind of get your layout, it's easy to come in and add the little details. Okay, liking that. I feel like probably have a chimney on this house too, right? I need to use a little bit lighter brown. Let's see, what do I have? That's a lighter brown. I don't want chocolate, that's more pine cone. Maybe I'll just mix some of that gardenia on a plate right here and bring in some shadows. So you want to remember where your light source is going to be. For this little house, I would say that the light source is coming this way. And I'm just going to bring the light into the dark to give it a little bit of dimension. And like I said, this is only the first layer. This thing will get built up with layers and layers. And then we're going to have to rinse this off and do a little bit darker on the bottom. Do I have a black over here? I'm not really good at putting lids on, but can I tell you, when they go on, they'd be stuck. Grab a little bit of this black. Let's bring some of that up in here. I want a smaller brush. Do I have a smaller brush? And I can only be on till 4 o'clock because my kiddo comes from her school and I have to feed her dinner. Mom life. Mom life. I want more water. Let's put some water on this brush. Also, is my daughter big enough to eat her own dinner and make her own food? Of course. Do I make her? No. My job is number one. Number one, Mom. She's my last kid. She's the only one left at home, so she gets spoiled a little bit, but that's okay. She's good. She's a good kiddo. So I'm just bringing some of the dark up to meet the light. Back into brown a little bit. I also am going to be painting cows on the bottom to the right, but I've only painted really big cows. I've never painted like little cows. So we'll see how it goes. I feel like littler should be smaller, right? Should be easier. Okay, let's mix up some of my cream and create a little farmhouse. How far down does the farmhouse go? I have to do little windows in here too. Cute. It would be darker on the other side, so let's add in a little bit of green to my cream to darken that up. How far down should that go? Can you hear my dog snoring? The older she gets, the more she snores. I feel like there's going to be darker underneath these eaves, so I'm just going to lay it out and then dark it up after. So are you seeing my vision yet? Field, sky, farmhouse, road coming down, cows over here. I'm going to add a little bit more. Where's my black? I'm going to add a little black to this eave, under eave part. Sorry, I get a little quiet sometimes when I get like in the details. Nice. Let's wipe some of this off. And bring some of that tone back up. Okay, so I've got this little house. Let's see. Got a computer on the floor. See if anybody's commenting. How many windows should I do? 4 windows? I need a little brush. What's the smallest brush that I brought over here? Probably not small enough, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, there's a little one. Okay, so we have a littler brush. That's just artisan brush. I'm gonna go into colored greens. I don't think I wanna do like a black, but I definitely want some sort of a window. And then maybe even one up here. What are we thinking? Yes? No? Maybe so? I'm going to keep the same brush or smaller. Let's go smaller. Let's grab some of this green over here and decide about painting in maybe some more trees. I don't want the house to be the focal, if that makes sense. So by adding a little bit of green down here, we can start to work a bit on the skyline before we come into the bottom. Nice. Tree needs to be bigger. All I can hear is my dog snoring. She's throwing me off with her cutie snores over here on the floor. We can even do kind of like pine trees-ish shape. There's no rules to this, you guys. I'm just literally making it up as I go along. Okay, so now we have, I actually like that style of tree better than that. I might darken this up with this style over here. And then we're going to come over. So let's even bring some kind of darker black in to that green. It's again, if you're just tuning in now, this is not hard. This is kind of like abstract art. We're just playing with paint in here. We're not being crazy. We're just doing a little bit of fun meadowscape here at the top Drawer RVA. Make sure you subscribe, like, and follow. I'm going to try and be live over here more often. I'm usually live on Facebook, but not to be lying or anything. I'm kind of mad at Facebook. I don't love it anymore. So I would rather be over here where we can have fun together. I get way more interaction and we can have a better time. How are we liking that tree? I actually really like that. I feel like there should be, let's add a bush down here. And we can really start to get our meadow going. Now, see this line? How I don't love this line, but we can make this cloudscape and blue as well. All you need to do is dry off your brush, go back into your blue and your white, and we can really start to kind of create a fun little sky with clouds a little closer. I really want a fresh brush. This one might do the trick. Let's put a little bit of water on there and see what happens. So this will be the beginning of this beautiful story for this wood chest that I got for only $15 at my local online auction. It was broken and I think people didn't want to take it on, but all I needed to do was re-screw the holes and add in some more glue to really kind of hold it into the back. And it was a simple fix. What are you thinking? Is this something that you think you're going to be able to achieve with a little bit of paint? I want more white. Give me more clouds. Nice, nice. I want to soften those edges a little bit more. This brush is almost dry. I'm just gently rubbing to create some small swirl texture. Loving that. What do you think? Cute? It's cute, right? So let's just keep going. I'm gonna go back into the green now because I want to kind of bring those trees back up to where they were before I swirled my blue into them. And then we will probably be letting you go. What time is it? Oh, it's only 3:26. We have lots of time. Lots of time before the kiddo comes home from school. What are we thinking? I like this. I think I'm going to do that bush like these. So that means I'm going to go back into that collard greens. Can you see? If I bring you in a little closer. Sorry, it's hard to sometimes live paint with my paint and my legs and all of the things. Paint, legs, paint on the floor opened up. I'm feeling like this is a little bit more looser. It was getting a little messy over here. So just doing these small little brushes these little brush strokes are just gonna loosen it up some. And I actually think I'll bring that brush over top of where the house is. How big should this tree be? Should I keep going? I like it when all the colors kind of get mushed together to create a little bit of I don't know, it just looks more real, a better texture. All I'm really doing is dabbing my paint on. It's almost like if you paint with your eyes squinted. If you squint your eyes, you can get away with painting something that looks so much better than if you're trying to be too precise. Let's add in some black. Where'd my black go? I have some black on this lid, same brush. And then we're going to add I gotta move the camera back. I'm literally sitting on the tripod. Okay, so I'm gonna wash this brush off. I want a bit of a brighter green. What green do I have that's a bit brighter than that color? Yeah, I might have to make up my own. I've got a paper plate on the floor, so I'm gonna just grab some of that darker green and some of the Holy Guacamole. We're gonna take it together, we're gonna mix it up and make it like a little bit of a lighter green, a little more control. If you wanted to, you can go back to your brush that is a natural fiber brush, and you can easily take some of this green and... Luna! I don't know who it is. I guess that's it for me, folks. Stay tuned. Signing off, signing out. I will be back another day and we can work on this piece. Hopefully you have a great day. And if you love what I'm doing, make sure to hit like and subscribe, and I will be trying back here weekly.